Hey y'all. Okay, listen. Remember, we're not gonna talk about me looking like how I feel. Okay. Remember, we not gonna do that. We're not doing that. Okay. So ignore what I got going on today. It has been a week. It will continue to be a week. And next week will probably be a week, but I'm good. I'm okay. It's just a lot going on right now. Um, If you're here, say, hey, what's up? Let me know that you are here. It is Tuesday and it is time for your free homeschool coaching, your free homeschool Q&A. Let's talk. Let's have these conversations about homeschooling. Y'all, I broke a bunch of nails trying to lift up a box. I'm trying to fix them. But let's have these conversations about homeschooling. We're still in the process of discussing whether or not people are able to homeschool, like if it's still an option. And again, y'all have heard me say it 1,000 times before. It's not going to change. Like my thought process is probably not going to change on that because it's true. The fact of the matter is that it is an option for everyone. Now, is it the best option for you? That's something that you'll have to decide. But that's what we've been discussing. So y'all come on in here, say, hey, what's up? Let me know that you're here. Put a thumbs up, something in the comments and let me know that you're here. Go ahead and go ahead and share. Let's get some people in here, but it is Tuesday and it is time for your free homeschool coaching. I am exhausted. Do I look like it? A little bit. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and then forced myself to go back to sleep for about an hour or two, but then it was time to get ready to get up and get to moving. If you are unfamiliar with me, my name is Sean Taylor, and I go by the name of Sean, the homeschool guru, and I am a homeschool coach that specializes in helping families transition into homeschooling. But honestly, if I probably need to change that because I think I'm more passionate about helping people understand that homeschooling is truly about you finding your own custom fit, like finding what works for you, that what works for me might not work for you, but homeschooling can work and it can work for every family, but it's going to look different. It's not always going to look the same. And so I probably should change my flat platform just based on that, because it's more important for me to make sure that you guys understand that you can be successful in homeschooling, that it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take some finagling to make things work, but you can do it. Um, and so, yeah, that's my whole platform. If you're unfamiliar with me, again, I've been married to my husband. We've been married for 17 years. We have been together for 23. We have 3 children together. We have a 19-year-old whom we just graduated from homeschool last year. We just graduated her, and she's currently attending the local community college. We have a 16-year-old boy who's still homeschooling and a 13-year-old boy who's still homeschooling. We are entrepreneurs. That is also something that we never thought that we would be doing. Basically, when it boils down to it, when it comes down to our lifestyle and the way that things are working, this was never in our plan. Like, we were truthfully traditional-ish type people, just saying it in that realm. We were about finding a good job and sticking with that good job that had good benefits and making sure we were good. And that's what we did. We both had a really good job with a really good company, and we stuck there. We were there for a while. Me personally, I was there for, I want to say, 13 years before we decided to do something different. And so, was it 13? Yeah, 13 or 14 years I was there with that company. And so that's just how our life kind of ended up. We'd never planned on homeschooling. Hey, Sharon. Y'all come on in here and say, hey, what's up? This is the opportunity. This is the time for you to ask anything related to homeschooling. A lot of people are asking a legitimate question, and I'm going to just be honest and transparent because that's what I choose to do, because I want you to understand. One of the questions that people are asking me a lot right now, they are asking about, so we talked about the single parent. We talked about how you can homeschool if you're working a normal 9 to 5. But the question is now, what do you do with your kids during that day while you're working? So say, for instance, if you're not at home or you're not working remote, where your kid can be at home with you, but kind of be off to the side, not interrupting you or something to that effect, what do you do with your child? And I'm going to be extremely honest with you. in that realm, I don't know. It's going to take me some time to think about it. It's going to take me some time to research that and ask parents what they're doing. I know that I do have clients who do have an 8 to 5, but their job, or 9 to 5, but their job is a little more flexible, and they're allowed to move more freely when it comes to homeschooling. And so what that means is, like, they can work at their desk, but they also can go and leave the job and then come back and do their work later if they want to do it that way. Or they have a flex schedule where they can move things around however they need to move it. And so the question again is, what do I do with my kids while I'm trying to work and homeschool at the same time? So say, for instance, you have to physically get up, leave the house, and go to work. What do you do with your kids? And I am not 100% sure. Jade is not necessarily a representation of that. Jade is an amazing person. If you guys don't know her, her name is Teacher Jade. She's a single mother who is also a homeschooling parent. Chelsea, if you can, try to tag her in here to see if she can come in. This would be a great opportunity for her to connect with some other homeschooling moms, to tell them how she does it and maybe make some connections herself. But Teacher Jade is an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. And I met her in the homeschool streets. She's a single mother who homeschools her child. So she is the end all be all when it comes to income. Like, there's no extra income coming in. To my knowledge, that's none of my business, but she is the end all be all, right? So her child fully supports, like, I mean, fully depends on her support, right? And so one of the things that she does is she's created her own teaching type situation. And so she's a teacher. She teaches writing, English, grammar, all of that stuff. She's an amazing, amazing teacher, very well versed. She's great. She has been a part of the HBC, my virtual conference, every single year that I've had it, as a teacher, as a speaker, speaking on being a single parent homeschooling mom. Like, she is amazing. So that's somebody also that is able to do it. Now, the way that she does it, hers is different because she's an entrepreneur, right? She can kind of set her hours and do whatever it is that she needs to do. And so that's the only reason why I say in that instance, she's not necessarily a good fit for what this question is. But I'm being honest with you. I'm honestly, I'm actively doing the research, right? As the coach, as the person who is trying to help you see different ways, different avenues, and different things. I am actively researching and talking to other people that I have connections with to see what they have experienced or how they have done it. Now, I know for a fact that you can homeschool as a single parent. I know for a fact that you can homeschool working outside of the home. I know all that. But what I don't know is, again, the answer to the question is, what do I do with my kids in the middle of the day? And that's just me being honest. So allow me the opportunity and the time to do some research. I know that there are a lot of people that do micro school type situation, or they do like a university model. And so what that would mean is, the university model, your child is going to school Mondays and Wednesdays and doing their work then, and then Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, maybe they're doing something else. Or a micro school, which is, and y'all know how I feel about micro schools. I can't say it enough. I get the concept of micro schools, right? So micro school is exactly what it says, right? It's a miniature school. It's a small school. And so what some teachers are doing is they are coming out of the field of working for the public school system, and they are creating a micro school, or a school that is here, like there in their home or in a building or whatever their case may be. I do believe that it is a incredible option. I think it's even more incredible when it's based on, again, the freedom of being able to educate your children the way that you want to educate them. Where it becomes an issue for me is when you have those public school teachers, and y'all know I love public school teachers, so I'm not bashing. Y'all know how I feel about that. But what I'm saying is, when you bring a teacher from the public school system into the homeschooling world, they tend to try to bring what they learned or what they experienced from the outside world into homeschooling. And they try to change the dynamics of what homeschooling is, instead of saying, let me get into this world and add to it based with all my, with my knowledge and all that stuff. Let me add to it. They more say, are like, well, I'm going to change this because it's better as far as the public school system. Like, they're trying to create more of a small public school. And that's the part that I don't like. I don't like those type of micro schools. And so Micro schools are a good option as well. So again, the same thing is you would get up to go to work 8 to 5 or whatever the case may be. You drop your child off at the micro school, whether it's at the teacher's house, whether they have a building, whatever the case may be. The child goes to school, you pick them up. It is what it is, right? But in that instance, again, it's still school, right? It's still running in the realm of the traditional school system, like that whole thing. It's not necessarily based off of the homeschooling. And I probably people are probably going to flip when they hear me say that as well. And so those are your options. So, but as far as when you can't have your kid all day at home by yourself by themselves while you're at work, again, I mentioned that you can try to get yourself involved in the homeschool community. A lot of us homeschoolers are willing to help each other, willing to I'm sorry. I'm washing clothes and the dishwasher's going. I thought I heard something. But a lot of things, a lot of people are willing to help each other. We're willing to help you in the community, is what I'm saying. So for instance, I am not going to homeschool your child. That is not my calling. I can homeschool my kids. That is something I will accept. But however, homeschooling other people's kids, that's a big deal, right? The parents really depend on you and they want it a specific way. And so that's not my calling. I don't choose to do that. But for instance, if you need me to pick up your kid and take them to a co-op or something like that, I can help you do that. If you need some type of help as far as that's concerned, I can do that. And then we talk about bartering. I keep saying the same thing with that. Be willing to barter. If you are homeschooling and you're working an 8 to 5 or whatever the case may be willing to say to a homeschooling family or a parent, hey, I cannot homeschool during the day, but this is what I can do for it in exchange. Okay. So maybe if you homeschool 2 days out of the week, then I can pull and take the kids on field trips, or I can take the kids on park days, or I can take the kids on the weekends and do something. So be willing to barter and work with each other to make it work. But it's an option. Okay. So I'm going to go through the comments. If you're here, say, hey, what's up? Let me know that you're here. Again, ignore this. I told y'all yesterday, if you see me looking the way I feel, which is exhausted, your girl is exhausted. Okay. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. If you see me looking the way I feel, just smile and wave. Okay. Just smile and wave. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Chelsea. Hey, love. Proud of all the debunking. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You're such a great supporter. I appreciate you. You're always here. You're always encouraging me, and I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jade was great examples of how she done it. Yes, Jade is really good. Okay. Let's see. I've been interested in OutSchool and found her on YouTube. Yes. So Jade is her name is Teacher Jade. And she is on OutSchool. And that's another way too that you could homeschool. If say for instance, though, you don't necessarily have the community, because that's still an issue if you don't have the community, but you're going to have to build the community. You're going to have to connect with each other. But OutSchool is another option. OutSchool, if you've never been on there, is outschool.com. They have a class for everything you can possibly think of, whether it's a foreign language, whether it's a ASL, whether it is math, reading, comprehension, cursive writing, playing the guitar, cameras, whatever it is that you are or your child is interested in or you want to put them in. OutSchool has that class available for you, and you pay a fee. Some classes you pay a flat fee and it's for 6 weeks. Some classes you pay like a $10 fee and it's every week you pay $10. It depends on the teacher. The teacher gets to set up the pay schedule as far as how they want to do it. But you do that. So OutSchool is another option. So say for instance, if you wanted to say you're working from home, right? Not necessarily working outside of the office, because again, if you're working outside of the office, you're going to have a community. You cannot work outside of the office and homeschool your children and you don't have your own community of people to trust. That's not going to work. You can't do it by yourself. That's just not going to work. And so a lot of people are asking that question. Well, what do I do with my kids? Well, what do I do with my kids? It's like you have to have the community. You have to have people in support that are going to be able to help you when you're working outside of the home. There's no way around it. You're going to have it. But say, for instance, you were working inside of the home and maybe you don't have the time to teach the baby, but you want to make sure that they're learning whatever it is that they need to learn, right? So with that said, what you're going to do is you can go into OutSchool and you can pick certain classes. So the way we did it when we first started homeschooling, we used IXL. as a curriculum. Y'all know how I feel about IXL. If you don't, I'm gonna tell you, okay? IXL is dope. However, IXL is not a curriculum. Despite what they say on their website, they are not a curriculum. IXL is a digital worksheet. You still have to teach your child the lesson. You still have to teach them how to add 3 plus 5. You still have to teach that to them. And then you can use IXL to reinforce what you teach it. IXL does not necessarily teach it. It doesn't say, okay, you have 3 jelly beans and mom gives you 5. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It doesn't do that. It doesn't have a video that goes along with that. It doesn't do that. It strictly says, here's your practice, your digital worksheet. If you get it wrong, then it bumps you back and makes you practice it more. That's what IXL is. So IXL is not a curriculum. It is a digital worksheet. But when we started, I didn't know that, okay? And everybody was bumping IXL like they do now. They bump IXL, they bump, what's that one, y'all? If you've been following me for a while, I can't even think of the best friend. If you're on here, tell me. But it's drier than the Sahara Desert. It is dry. Oh, it is dry. I can't stand it because it is dry. Now, let me say that the lady has put in so much work and she has great framework, but it's just so dry. I can't think of what it's called, but it's free and it has a whole curriculum all the way from kindergarten all the way to 12. But it is just dry. My goodness, my God alive. It is dry as all get out. So they were bumping those two, right? They were also bumping Discovery K-12, not K-12, but Discovery K-12. And so I did all of those. I pulled like some classes. I pulled some stuff from IXL. I pulled some stuff from the drier than Sahara Desert stuff. Let me see if somebody put it. Y'all, if you've been following me, you know what I'm talking about because I say it all the time. Easy peasy. Shelby, there you go, child. Easy peasy is dry. Oh my God, it is dry. I appreciate all of the work that she has done. It is amazing the framework that she has done. If I was to use it, if I like what I say in my coaching calls, if somebody says, what about easy peasy? Yes, Tiffany, you are absolutely correct. Easy peasy. See, y'all know. What I say to people is if you're going to use easy peasy, then I suggest that you use the framework and maybe do something else along with it. Like she has like vocabulary words or she has whatever reading assignment. We would never do her reading assignment for multiple reasons, not even go down that route, but we would do our own reading assignment and I would just use the way that she put up her lesson to kind of guide me as far as my lesson. So anyway, I say all of that. We would do easy peasy, we would do IXL, and then I purchased some classes on OutSchool. And so the things that I personally could not teach or was not comfortable in teaching, then I would have a teacher on OutSchool that would teach it. Now, something to note, and I don't know this 100% sure, but I believe that anybody on OutSchool can kind of have a class. I don't think that there is a certification or something that you have to have. So like, I think I'm not a certified teacher, but I believe if I wanted to teach how to count to 10, I could do that. So that's one of the things that you want to look at the reviews, look at what parents are saying, look at what kids are saying, whatever the case may be. Okay. Yeah. So Whitney, thank you so much. Whitney says no certification required. So that means that anybody could do OutSchool and teach their own class. Side note, that's a hustle. Now they do take a nice little chunk. I do know that, but that's a nice little hustle as well if you wanted to do that. Okay. And I say hustle, but y'all know what I mean. Okay. Okay. So Chelsea says Teacher Jade's Writing Academy. You can drop in the chat, please. Oh yeah, hopefully she drops in. Jade is amazing. But that's her page, Teacher Jade. And she's amazing. She's a single parent homeschooling mom, and she's doing it. She's doing it successfully. Her daughter is amazing. She's doing it successfully. As a matter of fact, I just got her book yesterday. I got her book. I ordered it and finally got her book. Not finally as in her, but finally as in the mail trip was tripping. But got her book yesterday. I just got it. Her daughter's book that she wrote. See, she talked about before she was an entrepreneur, lost last year during the conference. Yes, she is an entrepreneur. Yes, Jade is an entrepreneur. That is correct. Teacher Jade, hopefully she shows up. Yep. Okay. Yep. Easy peasy. Y'all know how I feel about easy peasy. It's just dry, child. No certification required. As long as you have a love for the topic and can teach it, it effectively. Exactly. Yep. Whitney says they take 30%. That's a nice chunk. That is huge. But still, that is a side note of something that you can do. If there's something that you are passionate about and you wanted to teach a class, platform, I mean, that's another way to do it as well. But again, if you are homeschooling and if you are working outside of the home and you are trying to homeschool, you're going to need some type of community. Again, whether that's a micro school, whether that's a university model, whether that's a neighbor, whether that's a sister, brother, cousin, uncle, what, I don't know. I don't know, but you cannot, there's no way for you to homeschool out, for you to work outside of the home and homeschool your child and you do not have some type of community around you. That's not going to work. That's unrealistic, right? And so for me, again, I can only tell you what I would do. So if I'm working outside of the home and the goal is for me to homeschool my children, but I don't have the community around, or nor do I trust people really that much with my kids and their safety, as far as that's concerned, if that was something for me, then it would become a plan of how do I get home to homeschool my children, but also make my money. That would be the way that I would work that, right? So if homeschooling is that important to me, then may cause me to shift my career choice, or it may cause me to shift and do something else in order to do what I'm wanting to do, which is homeschooling. And so that's something that you're going to have to think about and you're going to have to figure out. You can't, and I'm saying you can't, I don't want to say that, but I'm going to say it. You can't sit here and tell me that it's impossible for you to homeschool when you're not looking at all of the options. Right now, in the state that you're in the place that you're in, like I told the mom who was a single mom who was working 3 jobs. Right now, you're working 3 jobs. It's impossible for you to homeschool. That's not something that you can do right now. That doesn't say that there's not an option for it. It just says right here in this moment, it's not a good option for you, right? It's not going to work. And so if homeschooling is the end game, if that's the goal is to homeschool your children, then my focus would be to get my job situation in order so that I can get to the end goal, which is to get to the goal, which is to homeschooling. So that means I can't work 3 jobs. So that means that I'm going to have to go find another job that's going to count for 2 of those jobs, at least at the very bare minimum, or 1. That means I'm going to have to do something to make that happen. And I know that sounds, I know that can be difficult, especially if you're in a place like, say, for instance, you're in a place where you're making minimum wage, and maybe you don't feel that you can make any more than minimum wage. That comes again with a mindset of what do I need to do so that I can make more than minimum wage, right? What can I do so that I don't have to work 3 jobs in order to homeschool my children? And that's just me being a coach and being transparent with you. Am I saying it's going to be easy? Am I saying you're doing something wrong? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying to you is, if your goal is to homeschool, then that's going to require you to do the work to get to homeschooling. So that means, again, if you are working outside of the home 8 to 5 or whatever, 9 to 5, whatever the case may be, but you want to homeschool, then you start looking at other avenues in order to homeschool your children. You're going to have to. And again, micro schooling, university model, finding people that can support you in your journey. You're going to have to. There's no way that you can do it alone. So again, I'm just talking, that was something that I was talking about, but this is live Q&A. You are more than welcome to ask whatever question you have pertaining to homeschooling, and I will answer it. I'm only going to be here for a little bit right now. I'm at home. I'm not at soccer practice. Thank the Lord. Deuce took Mason to practice so that I could be at home. So I'm going to actually have to get up and get dinner started, so it'll be ready by the time they get home from practice. So I'm not going to be on here that long tonight. So if you have any questions, go ahead and get on here and let's talk. Let's ask these questions and we'll go from there. Okay. Do me a favor. If you have been with me for a while, give me I don't know, give me something different. Give me some emoji completely different than what you normally would do in the comments so that I know that you have been for a while. If you are new, do me a favor and put a 1 in the comments so that I know that you are here and I can shout you out. But again, this is live Q&A. Please share. You are more than welcome to ask whatever question you want to ask pertaining to homeschooling. A lot of people are curious about homeschooling. A lot of people think they know. I thought I knew what homeschooling was when I was in traditional school. I thought I knew. I didn't. But a lot of people think they know, and I created my platform so that I could help people understand it. Okay. Hey, Jay Rochelle, newbie, thank you for being here. Hey, Chelsea Chase, Chelsea been here. Yeah. But I created this platform to help people understand, to be able to ask the questions. How do I make it happen? It is possible, guys. It definitely is possible. What I would say to you is you can ask the questions here, but say, for instance, you're scared or you don't want to ask the questions in front of everybody. What you can do is you can, on my website, which is SeanTheHomeschoolGuru.com, you can there's a if you go to the podcast tab, there's a place where you can go and you can make a confession anonymously, and you can say, these are my questions I have for homeschooling, but I don't want to ask in public because I don't want people to know, something like that, and I will get to it, and I will definitely do that on live for you. It's a little difficult right now because, again, there's a bunch of stuff going on. Another thing that you can do is I have my calendar is open for May. I actually am going to next week. I'm going to open up some more slots for May to schedule. You can schedule a quickie with me. And what a quickie is, it's a 15-minute call, right? 15-minute. We're here face to face on video chat. You get to ask whatever questions you want to ask for 15 minutes pertaining to homeschooling. And I do my very best to help you and leave you, with as much information as possible. And then if you need more than that, then we can go from there. But you are only doing the 15 minutes. There's no charge, there's no nothing. It's literally free 15 minutes to ask me one-on-one personal questions about your homeschooling journey. Okay. Chelsea says conferences that aren't religious based. You're here, right, Chelsea? If I remember correctly, do you know of any conferences for the family that aren't religious based? So the Texas Expo, the Texas Homeschool Expo, the one that I'm going to be in June, I believe that one is not religious based at all. Y'all know the one Greater Homeschool Convention. Shall they block me because of all that stuff that was going on with Abeka, and I was calling them out because that's what I do. I call you on your mess. I was calling them out on that. And then I was also calling them out on the Black Lives Matter stuff. And that stuff was irritating me because they were making it a point to say all lives matters, which made a clear stance on what they were saying. And so that was a whole nother issue. So I called them out on that as well. And they blocked me. They blocked me. And so them, and let's see, they're religious based. Teach them diligently is religious based. I know the Catholic one, that one's religious. Besides the Texas Expo one, I can't think of anyone. Now there is another Texas homeschool convention. I think the THSC, but I don't like them either. I don't like them either. And part of the reason why is because of the whole Tim Tebow law. They pushed that Tim Tebow law through. They pushed it like we wanted it here in Texas when the majority of us did not want it. Like we kept telling them, we don't want this. Stop backing this. Stop saying this is great. We don't want this. And they weren't listening to the people. And so besides that, I don't know of any other ones. Let's see. And they had Tucker Carlson as a speaker last year. Who did? Greater did? Great. Yeah, they a mess. Let's see. I need the deets on Abeka. I'm a preschool homeschool mom, and that's popular in other groups. Abeka is extremely popular in all of the homeschool groups that involve believers. Abeka is great. Let me tell you this, okay? I will tell you two truths for me, okay? One truth is that my kids used Abeka in the private school that they were raised in. They were, whatever, all three kids were in the same private school. They used Abeka. They learned how to read. Yana learned how to read by the time she was 4. Deuce learned how to read by the time he was 5. Mason learned how to read by the time he was 3. Abeka has an amazing program when it comes to that. Hands down. They have an amazing program helping the kids learn how to read. They have an amazing program. I just have to put that out there. That's the first thing. So my kids have used it. Also, another truth that I have to tell you about Abeka is that we in our homeschool journey used it. We used it when Ayana first started high school. We used their ELA curriculum and we used their science curriculum. And that one was pretty good too. It was a lot of extra work, unnecessary work, in my opinion. They called it rigor, but it was just like they called it that it was rigorous, but it wasn't. It was just a bunch of extra stuff. Like they had a video, 20, 30-minute video. There was assignment with the video that was like 2 to 3 pages long. And then they would have homework at the end of the day. That was stupid to me. Like that was dumb. Now I understand that if it was in the like in the private school sector, that you would do that because that's the theme, right? You do the lesson, you do the classwork, and then you do homework when you get home. But when you're homeschooling, you don't really do that type of situation. And so that was an issue for me. So those are the deets for me on when it comes to Abeka. Now, where Abeka became a problem for me, if you remember, two issues. One issue in particular where I was all on Abeka's case and I went live, I went on YouTube. Some of the YouTube videos are still up and available. Was the situation with Jacob Rush last year. Jacob Rush is a local homeschooler to North Texas. At one point in our life, the Rush family and our family were directly connected. And so when I saw that they were having issues and I had a homeschooling platform in front of people, I could do nothing but call them on their mess and call them out on it. And so basically what it boils down to is that he had done all of his work, graduating with an amazing grade point average, whatever the case may be. He had locked up his hair, and the rules to graduate were specifically targeting people of color, Black boys, specifically targeting them, saying that they could not have braids, they could not have locks, they could not have hair down to their shoulders. And the way that they made it sound was based off of the college that they are connected to, that's the reason why that it was. But the actual policy, if you go through it, you go through my YouTube, all that stuff that was going on, it's been removed now as far as their website is concerned. They changed the policy. But the actual policy was directed to Black boys, period. And so Jacob had long locks and there was no way for them to fit under his hat. They wanted him to chop him off. And no matter how much his mom tried to have a conversation with them about it, Becca was not trying to, really deal with it. They were just like, the rules are the rules. It is what it is. And so what ended up happening was I was going live every day and I was calling them out on it. I was tagging them every time they would respond in any type of response to whatever, like on their page. I would come with a video, I would say something, I would email, I would do all this stuff. I even reached out and got found a civil lawyer that could help and kind of forward it through. I'm sorry, forwarded through everything or whatever, sent them or I made a call for a civil lawyer. I'm sorry, I got a text message and I got distracted. I made a call for a civil lawyer and somebody connected me with a civil lawyer and I sent information to the family. Now, I don't know if that's the civil lawyer they chose. I don't know who it is, but however, I do know that a lawyer got involved and it ended up being resolved. But I was so irritated with how Abeka handled the situation that it floored me. It threw me off. Like it just upset me so much. And it's funny too, because even right now, just thinking about it, the current situation that's going on with Power Homeschool and their situation, folks are way more upset about what is going on with Power Homeschool than they were ever upset about what was going on with Abeka. Their thing was, well, the rules are the rules. Like, oh well, right? And so even though with Power Homeschool had the opportunity or the choice to pull or do whatever it is they wanted to do with their curriculum, the homeschooling community, they are up in arms about Power Homeschool. And if you don't know what's going on with Power Homeschool, just Google. It's a whole big old mess that's going on with Power Homeschool. And so that it's interesting that people choose their battles, and the people that look like me tend to get shortchanged when it comes to picking that battle, right? Anyway, so that's my thing on Abeka. Abeka is amazing for young babies. I would say, Whitney, if you want to use Abeka for your babies and it's going to work for your babies, then use it. Who cares? Who cares what I say? Right? I mean, I'm only giving my opinion, just being very honest with you. If I had a younger child right now, and I would probably try some other reading curriculum and different options as far as that's concerned. But say, for instance, right now, so I've got my 19 I've got my 19, my 16, and my 13-year-old, and I know that they all read successfully and quickly with the Becca's program, then I would probably right now, if I had to homeschool another child, I may look into something to see if it compared to a Becca. But if it came down to it, I probably would use what I needed to use. So if that meant that I needed to use a Becca, then I would use a Becca. And that's because of the end goal and the end game. I just have to be honest with you and say that Becca has an amazing reading program when it comes to that. I just have to do that. I'm not going to sit here and bullcrap around with that. Okay. Chelsea says, thoughts on Khan Academy for middle school and high school courses. Khan Academy was difficult for us in our house. It has everything as well, right? It has a bunch of stuff, a bunch of information. My kids did not too much. They did not like the math at all, neither the three of them. And my daughter in particular, that was more of her style of learning. But she didn't like that at all. Khan Academy can be great. It just did not work for us. And so what I will say as far as high school is concerned and what you're trying to do as far as curriculum is concerned is, and I can't even show you the books that I'm talking about. I think I've showed you the books, the CLEP books that we've used to teach from, in order for her to take CLEP tests to earn the college credit. Stuff like that is what we used. I'm sorry, y'all, I got something in my eye now too. So Icon Academy can be good. My kids just didn't enjoy it. They didn't enjoy it at all. And honestly, just being honest, I don't know if there is a curriculum that my kids enjoy. I just think that there's curriculums that they tolerate. Like, who enjoys curriculum? Unless you're somebody who loves that type of situation, who enjoys curriculum? Just being honest. Like, who enjoys it, right? Who thinks, oh, I can't wait to sit down with this curriculum? Nobody. And so I can't necessarily say that my kids have ever really enjoyed a curriculum, but I think that there are ones out there that they have tolerated more than the others based off of what it could provide for them. So all right, guys, I'm gonna get off of here in like 3 minutes. I was supposed to get off of here at 7:30 to start cooking dinner, but I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here in 3 minutes. I can take another question. So light me up, guys. What else? What else you got? Okay, Chelsea, good questions. Thank you so much, Whitney, for those questions. Good questions. Like I said, Whitney, make a decision for you. If you believe that Becca is going to work for your family, then stand firm in that. It is what it is, right? Like, who cares what anybody else thinks, right? Who cares what I think? I just tell you my opinion, and then you're blessed to do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to be like, Whitney. Like, I'm just not. I'm just here to give you all of the information that I know, and then you make whatever decision that you need to, you need to make, right? Like, I that's all I'm here. I'm not gonna say don't, like, I'm not one of those people who's like, boycott, don't do this. Like, one curriculum that I don't like is Apologia. Apologia has a good program as well. However, Apologia did a blog post about, if I'm in my brain, I'm tired, but it's 1887 being I think it was the movie, was it 1887 or something that came out? I can't remember. I'm sorry. I think it was the document that came out. I think that's what it is. Trying to remember. They made a complete blog post um, about it about it being fake, like it not existing, like history not being what it is. Yet Apologia is teaching people, like they're making curriculum about history and flat out telling people that history didn't happen. Like, it's the same thing as when people are saying, let's ban books, let's not talk about these topics like they didn't exist. It's the stupidest thing ever. It's dumb. It's dumb. Thanks, love. You're welcome. You're welcome, Whitney. Yeah, just make whatever decision you want to make. Shelby, I can go into, yes, Whitney, if I can find, do me a favor. Don't do me a favor. When I get off of here, because I'm going to do it first and then I'm going to go cook. If I can find the link to blog post, I posted it a long time ago, but they posted a link. Like, I follow a lot of these homeschool curriculums. I follow what they say and what they do because I want to be able to say, like, oh, this is what's going on. When they have new stuff coming out, like all of that kind of stuff. And I remember this blog post coming across my email saying that the document was fake. I remember seeing that and I was like, that's what we doing? Like, We saying history didn't happen, even though there's proof. Like, it's like almost like I like those books. What is, who is, those books. I like those books. But one of the biggest issues I have with that is one of the books that they have with Harriet Tubman. It says Harriet Tubman was a happy slave, like she was a happy child. Excuse me, she was a happy child. Like, you're that comfortable with saying that? You think she's in midst of slavery, bondage, like, and you printed that she is a happy child? I have a problem with that. Like, what are we doing here? Let's see. Can you explain Charlotte Mason? Shelby, I can explain Charlotte Mason for you, but what I'm going to do, because I'm on a time limit. I set myself on a schedule. What I'm going to do is, Shelby, I'm going to get off of here, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to post you some links on Charlotte Mason. And then when I come back on Thursday at 7 p.m., if you have any questions, feel free to ask and we can go from there. Or if you want to send me questions later on, you definitely send them to me and I'll answer as far as that's concerned. Okay, so do that. Okay, when I get off of here, I'm going to post the 1887 article. If they may have pulled it by now, but I'm going to see if I can find that. If I can find that, then I will post that. And then Shelby, I also will come in here and give you the information on what Charlotte Mason is. Yeah, my kid came from and told me we came over here for a better life. Yeah, we came over to America for a better life. Oh, what? Like, that's what we teaching kids? That's what we doing? Um, but what I can tell you, Shelby, about Charlotte Mason more than anything else, really quickly, is basically she teaches from a living book stance. She also teaches from the stance of treating your child like a person versus just an inferior little child, like a baby, like, oh, they're just a kid. They don't have opinions, thoughts, and all that kind of stuff. She comes from the mindset of they are little people, like they are people too. They have feelings and thoughts and all that kind of stuff, and all that. So that I can give you that, just that little headline, right? But when I get off of here, I will, as I'm cooking, if I don't do it, Shelby, if you don't see it on here tonight, send me a message and I'll get it to you. But I will send you and get you some articles and stuff about Charlotte Mason explaining. And then when we come back Thursday, if you have any more questions, I be there like right off the bat, make that the first question that you ask so we can have that conversation. Okay. All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go be a mom or whatever and cook dinner for my kids, right? No peanut butter and jelly tonight. They had that last night. So I need to be a mom, but thank y'all so much for joining me. I love you. I will see you guys on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here. Make sure you're here, set your timer, do whatever you got to do. Get ready, write your questions, whatever you can think of, whatever you can come with. Okay. Have an absolutely wonderful night. I'll see you later. Bye.